everyone, how are you doing today? My name is Karina and welcome back to Ready Set Pan. Today I am so excited. It's another update for my Use Those Eyeshadows project, which because I get bored of my eyeshadows quickly and I want to rotate through my collection, I randomize an eyeshadow. I have 3 in at a time. I use it 10 times. I'll use that palette holistically 10 times in most cases. Roll it out, roll something new in. This month, you guys, everything's out. Everything, all 3 of the colors that I was working on previously, the 2 I rolled in last month, we're out of here. So we've got some ghost matte. One of these palettes is going to be decluttered, which is another reason why I like this project, because then I get to know my collection better and make some informed decisions about it. So let's dive into it. So the first shade that was lingering in my project, and I haven't used for so long, this one comes to us from the Anastasia Beverly Hills Norvina Pro Pigment Volume 1 palette in the shade D2. Now again, 10 uses, and I try to wear these pans down evenly, so you're not going to see much usage, but you've seen where I was last time, and this is where I'm at now. I used this, I think the 2 days after I filmed the last update, so again, it's been a long time since I've worn this color. My favorite way to wear this color is as that outer corner pop of blue. It's deep enough, even with the shimmer in there. This is such a pretty color. So, it's so good. It's good. Which is not normally what I would say about a blue eyeshadow. So I had 2 uses left. I've used it twice. I've reached my goal of 10 uses. So this is going to go back into one of my deep potted kind of palettes where I have a whole bunch of random things that I've ripped apart. So that was the first shade, and Gold Matte. The second palette is the one I am wearing on my eyes today, the Huda Beauty Mercury Retrograde palette. I really do enjoy this palette. I know it's a colorful palette, but this is so good. And it's the second time this one's been rolled into this project. I rolled in the shade Libra. Now, Libra is this cool, light pastel purple. I wear it in the crease. It's my transition shade. That's where it is today. It's where I've used it every single time I've reached for this palette. And it feels a little bit more spring. It does, but it's fine. I've been wearing it into summer and the start of fall. This is kind of hard to show because it's reflective, but this is what the palette as a whole looks like. And of course, I will have a close-up on this shade right here, which is Libra. And today I'm wearing a combination of Momentum to set my eyeshadow primer, Libra in the transition area, Vortex in the outer corner, and then I've got Nebula all over the lid for my sparkly goodness. Now, this one I only need to reach for an additional 6. Oh, sorry. I'm not even speaking correctly with this. This is the second month. I needed 6 more uses. I've got my 6 uses. It's now at 10 uses, and it is rolling out. I just got so excited I got my details wrong. Apologies, guys. I do still really love that palette. It's not going anywhere. Which means this was the palette I rolled in last month. So this I spent points on to get in the BoxyCharm shop because points were going to be expiring. This is from Tresluce Beauty. This is their Destinos or their Calmness palette. It does come with a little mirror. This is a palette that is perfect for this time of year because it is bronzy, summery, still appropriate for fall. And the shade I had rolled in was shade number 5, which was this one here. This palette was untouched as of the last month, and so yeah, there was no usage on it previously. Now, I have reached for this palette and this shade twice, but with those 2 uses, I have decided that this palette just simply isn't for me. Now, normally when I'm decluttering stuff from my eyeshadows, the main reason is because it doesn't last. It doesn't stay on my eyelid, or that's the main reason, okay? This formula, powdery, but does stay. It is pigmented, so trying to put this color here, my transition area, it's oh, that was pigmented. Blend that out. It lasts well. It stays on the eyelid. My problem, and this is just personal preference, this is simply too, even taking this one out, because that one's super orangey, but it just all reads too orange, especially with these 2 colors here, the transition and the all over the lid color. So I've opted to declutter this. I've only used this palette twice. I would rather give it to someone who will get more use out of it and enjoy it, because I'm not going to love reaching for it. I didn't love how the more orangey tones in here look on me. Like it has to be the right bronze. So that's where we're at. It's a good palette. It lasts well. It's pigmented. It's just not for my skin tone and for my preferences. So this is going to be decluttered. So 3 things rolling out, 2 goals met, 1 declutter. I don't know in this project if I've ever had all 3 roll out in the same month. So I'm super excited. And if I have, apologies, but I'm still super excited about it. So I'm going to randomize. Of course, I do have every single pan of eyeshadow listed in an Excel spreadsheet, and I'm always constantly updating it, decluttering, getting stuff in BoxyCharm. So that's kind of how my collection works. So I'm going to be pulling up my Pretty Random app here, and I'm going to be rolling in 3 new shades. All right, so our first shade we're going to roll in is going to be shade number 195. Shade number 2 is going to be, number 80. And shade number 3 is going to be 223. All right, I've pulled the palettes. I haven't looked at them yet to see the shades because I want to do that with you guys. And we're just going to start on a very, very familiar note. Because for the 3rd time in this project, there is one of the palettes that's been featured 3 times in this project. We are going to be keeping the Huda Beauty Mercury Retrograde palette in this project. Again, because the numbers are constantly moving. So right now, shade 195 is going to correspond to Old Glitch. Now, if I'm remembering correctly, this is going to be like a lid shade. Oh, yes, it is. All right, you guys. So, again, this is the palette that I am working on. And the shade Old Glitch is this one right here. So I'll get a video so you can see that one a little bit closer. I did use this once, actually, when I was using Libra over the last month. This is a very crumbly topper. I think it's a topper shade rather than like an actual all-over lid shade. But we will play with this one. There it is right there. That is such a stunning color. You know what? I wonder. Like, obviously, this is going to be great all over the lid. It might be a little bit deep for an inner corner shade, but maybe I will give it a shot that way as well. What's kind of nice, depending on how I use this shade, I could go colorful with this palette. I can go neutral with this palette. So let me, again, with all of these, your favorite ways to use the shades I'm rolling in, because I'm always curious. So I know some people may not be super excited that this palette is already back in the project in relatively close succession with all 3 of these, but that's going to be such a fun shade. I am so excited about this next roll-in, you guys, because I am bringing in a Natasha Denona palette. This one is the Anya palette. This was, I think, the first Natasha Denona palette I received in BoxyCharm. So it's got like a tiny bit of use, but not a whole lot of use, unfortunately. Now, oh my goodness. Oh, this is going to be so pretty, so stunning. Maybe slightly wintry. I think I could go fall if I'm looking like that. And the shade that I rolled in is the shade Crease, which I believe is this one right here. So for me, this is perfect because, yeah, I will definitely use this one in my crease as my transition color. And I can use, I imagine I'll probably stick with these 4 shades. We'll see how this one goes. This is Glam Green, but it looks very silvery to me. But I'm just so excited to play with Natasha Denona. I do really like these 5 pans, and I just don't use them very often simply because, you know, I'm dedicated to this project. So unless I'm rolling it into a project somewhere, I'm not using them. And because I only have 5 pans, the odds of this palette getting rolled in is lower, obviously, than some of these other palettes. But there is my swatch here. Again, you guys know I use these individually, but that would make a pretty good pairing together. Let me just actually try to build that swatch a little bit more. I've had the palette for a little while. Ooh. Okay. It's very almost grungy looking in there. Like bluey, gray, brown. Okay, yeah, that looks a little different compared to the pan there, but I'm still pretty excited. And worst case scenario, if I need to like tone it down, I can use both of those together. So I'm so excited. I love these 5 pans. They're great for traveling. Not that I'm going to be doing any traveling, but that's going to be so good. The last palette. This palette has been in this project before as well. Quite a while ago. I think it was around a year ago, actually. And I have done this palette, No Pan Left Behind, since then as well. And that is from Lorac. So all BoxyCharm palettes, which mostly it is. This is their Pro Palette Artist Edition. Of course, we're going to have all of the shades. Don't look too closely. It's messy. Again, this is another very neutral leaning palette. And you can see I've gotten some decent-ish use. Gold was the shade I had in for 10 uses previously. And I have used every single shade in here at least once. Shade 223 is going to be Champagne. Ooh, so yeah, just using my little cheat sheet here. So Champagne is this one right here. So it's a bit of a light pink color. Let me get a swatch. Oh yeah, this is Champagne down here. Isn't that just stunning, you guys? This, again, it could make, I don't know, it's pink, so I probably wouldn't use it in the inner corner. I will probably reach for this as an all-over lid shade, I imagine. But, again, I can do slightly more colorful because I can go into like a bit more of a purple or pink look with this palette. Otherwise, I've got a lot of neutrals. That there is my summary of what I have rolled in today and what I'll be working on for the next month. Oh, gosh, that is pretty. Okay, so the goal section, this is where it's going to be challenging because these are all brand new, at least in terms of I need to use them 10 times. And again, it's not hard, just balancing everything out. So here's my thought process. I do want to have at least one eyeshadow rolling in and out of this project every single month. Now, it is summery fall transition. So in terms of the weather right now for us, like today that I'm filming, it's like 30 degrees. But there almost seems to be like a bit of a coolness to the air at times. Like not necessarily today, but like throughout the last week. Like there's definitely been a shift in the weather. Like the fall is coming. If you have that kind of similar transition, you feel it's a little bit crisper in the air, a little bit cooler, even when it's still like 20 degrees out, 25 degrees out, etc. And we're supposed to be getting some rainy days coming up. Now, my guess is that this second shade, the Natasha Denona shade, I'll still use it, but I think I'm going to want that more like actual fall compared to like the summer to fall transition. So I'm going to be putting more of my focus. I'm not sure which shade yet. I'll have to play it by ear. So either I will use a lot more of the Huda Beauty, or I'll really push my focus, or you never know, on the Lorac palette and get at least one of those to my 10 uses so I can roll it out next month. Oh my gosh. I can't stop staring at my hand, you guys. So that is it. That was my super exciting I think it's super exciting. I just really like this project because I love randomizing the eyeshadows, seeing what I can do. Because sometimes it does challenge me to play with eyeshadows I may not gravitate to and get to know my collection. Now, I don't think any of these palettes are going anywhere because I do enjoy all 3 of them. And with the exception of this one, like this I haven't used in so long. Like I don't think I've used this palette since before I started my YouTube channel. This one has been probably about a year since I've used it, so it's going to be so good. But that is going to wrap up today's video. Let me know all of your thoughts down in the comments below. Give the video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe so you don't miss my updates or my panning content. And look forward to seeing you guys in my next video very soon. Have a wonderful day.